Welcome back to Inside Boxing's latest issue of ThrowDown. My name is Steve Johnson, my co-host Aurelio Martinez, and our local boxing aficionado Eric Duran. We want to welcome Eric into the Lion's Den.
Thank you, appreciate
Welcome, Eric. Welcome. Yeah.
All right, we want to start off this segment talking about the recent battle, basically, between HBO and Showtime. Both of them having some upcoming quality bouts that we'll discuss a little bit. Eric, why don't we start off with you? What is the most intriguing fight that you see coming up between HBO and Showtime first, and then we'll talk about which one has the better quality bouts in your opinion?
Well, I think the most interesting bout coming up is Adrian Broner versus Paulie Malignaggi. Adrian Broner was HBO's next golden child. In the lines of Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Roy Jones Jr., Adrian Broner was that next big star that they lost in this whole fiasco between Golden Boy and HBO. So I believe the Adrian Broner bout versus Paulie Malignaggi, he's moving up 2 weight classes. Title shot in his first bout at 147. And if anyone knows Adrian Broner, he has the potential to be the next superstar. And now Showtime has him in their hands.
I think you're absolutely right. I think Showtime made a move, and they decided they were going to take the boxing scene and just kind of take it by. Because in the past, it's always been HBO. I mean, HBO brought the Mayweathers. It was always HBO and Bob Arum basically that brought the public the fights that they wanted to see. But since then, for the past few years, HBO has stepped up, and they have actually put on, in my opinion, the better fight, the better competition that the public actually wants to see. Now, you can take, for example, now Adrian Broner, he's Showtime now, right? That's going to be Showtime. And what do you have Showtime? HBO, you've got Chad Dawson and
Adonis Stevens.
I'm not going to cancel any dinner arrangements to see that fight. I mean, that's honest to goodness truth, okay? That's June 8th. And at the same time on June 8th, you have Showtime, which is going to show Maidana versus Josecito Lopez. Now, you guys, give me your opinion. If you didn't have a recording device, what you gonna watch? You're gonna watch HBO, or you're gonna watch Showtime? You're gonna watch Marcos Maidana and Josecito Lopez, or you're gonna watch Dawson?
Well, I think it's almost a no-brainer. You go with the Showtime bout. In my case, particularly because you're well aware that a kid that I had tagged to be a world champion long ago, Erislandy Lara, is on the undercard there. And him fighting Alfredo Angulo is going to be a great fight. I don't expect Angulo to do much against Lara. I expect Lara to go ahead and handle him. But once again, 2 quality bouts, whereas on the HBO card, 1 bout, Adonis Stevenson, 35 years old.
Not interested.
Kind of moving up from super middleweight to light heavy. Not a very.
And to be honest, he does bring that stigma of being a great power puncher who can end a fight in dramatic fashion. I've always believed Chad Dawson was the biggest enigma in pro boxing. Definitely has the tangibles and the skills to be a world-class fighter. Mentally, he's flawed. I think he's proven it time and time. Yep. But he is the bigger name of the 4 fighters. Adonis Stevenson does bring that ultra punching power that can change a fight and just have people off their feet. But Maidana, Lopez, 2 Mexican fighters who fight with heart and throw skills out of the window sometimes, brings action.
And that's my point. Exactly what you just said is my point. You take Dawson and Stevenson. Okay, that's not a fight for the general public. That's a fight for a boxing aficionado, someone that knows the fighter, someone knows what to expect, and some a hardcore fight.
Right.
Okay. Right. Your regular boxing fan
could care less.
Can care less about that. But then again, you get Marcos Maidana and Josecito Lopez. They know what they're going to get in that fight. So that's something that the regular, everyday person is going to tune in to watch.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's my point. Unless you really know some background on Dotson or know some background on Stevenson, it doesn't ring a bell. It doesn't say, okay, let's don't go out to dinner. Let's don't go walk the dog or something. We need to watch this fight.
I'd agree. That's an excellent point. Like Eric and I, we're very familiar, and we're familiar with Adonis Stevenson, and Chad Dawson. But like you said, with the Showtime card, Maidana and Lopez, War, Lara and Angulo. You know, potential to be a war because Angulo has the same tangible. He has a chance, you know, to land a big bomb and make a big difference. But the bottom line is that, like you said, I'm gonna watch Showtime.
I mean, okay, so basically for the fans, you can chalk that one up to Showtime.
Gamboa, Yorkis Gamboa is on there also. He's on the. No, he is. Well, I mean, I know you're not a fan of Gamboa,
but I am.
But
I'm a big fan of Yorkis Gamboa.
He's not a fan of Gamboa, but I am too, and mainly because now that he's, you know, his promoter manages 50 Cent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 50. You know, I still think that he's going to be a player in boxing. You know, until his couple of his cash cows go down, but we'll see how he sticks around after that. But there's a little bit to be said there. I might, you know, as long as the fight times are staggered, we will watch him. You know, we will have to.
Well, we will.
Yeah,
we will because we're boxing people.
Hardcore boxing. Fans.
We're gonna be switching back and forth, and we're gonna be recording one the other. We're gonna watch them. Okay, that's not here or there. But when you talk about HBO and Showtime, where they're actually looking at a revenue stream, where they want the general public, your neighbor, my neighbor, your neighbor to watch the fight, they're not gonna watch HBO on that June 8th. They're gonna watch Showtime. So,
well, speaking of that, let's talk just a real quick second. Let's talk about that fight, Josecito Lopez. You know, well, let get Eric. You're our guest. Let's start off with you. Josecito Lopez Marcos Rene Maidana.
If I'm a betting man and I'm putting a number on it, it's 60-40 for Maidana. Josecito Lopez has been in there with Victor Ortiz, where he shocked the world, pulled off the upset against the bigger man. He showed tremendous heart and skill against Saul Canelo Alvarez. But Maidana shows no quit in him. He absorbed tremendous body shots from Amir Khan, got up on off the canvas, and almost beat him. I think Maidana is a little bit too much for Josecito Lopez, and he wears him down towards the end of the fight. Maybe he stops in the 11th, 12th round, or it's a clear-cut decision for Maidana.
Well,
I'm on the opposite side of Eric. Okay, I think Josecito Lopez is going to win this fight because I think Maidana, he's been exposed. Okay, if he doesn't hurt you and knock you out and get your respect, he's not going to win the fight. Toward the end of the fight, Josecito will take control of the fight because Maidana is going to be the same Maidana as he is in the first round. He's going to be the same Maidana in the last part, except he's going to be a tired Maidana. And if you look at his last fight, he got awfully tired because he's a classic boxer. He's going to come to knock you out. I mean, that's his game. He's not going to come in there and do a shoe shine.
He's a classic fighter.
He's not going to do not a boxer, a fighter. He's not going to do a shoe shine and do a half step and do a shoulder roll or anything. You're not going to get that from Maidana. Okay, so once you overcome that, and that's a good thing. Can Josecito Lopez overcome that? He gets hit by Maidana.
Yes.
He's going to look like Austin Trout
and
against
he overcame it against Victor Ortiz. But like speaking of Chad Dawson and guys like Victor Ortiz, mentally they're flawed. And at some point in the fight, they lose their focus and they're beatable.
I agree.
Like you said, Maidana has been exposed, but he's been exposed against superior boxers in Amir Khan and Devin Alexander.
That's a good point.
Those guys are head and shoulders above Josecito Lopez. That's where I think Maidana has the edge. He's been in there with the better fighters. He's hung tough.
Experience-wise, yeah.
Experience-wise, and I think he'll just be a little bit too much for Lopez. If the fight's at 47, Josecito Lopez is still a 140-pound fighter in my eyes. And probably he can even still make 135 if he wants to. He's still going to be the smaller man in the ring.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Well, and that's my opinion also. I think, Josecito Lopez took the fight, which was the no-brainer. Jumping up in weight, and then he has to come back down, and now he's looking at someone who's still, in Marcos Maidana, who's still actually heavier than him. Okay, and so I just think opposite of you. You think that Maidana's going to wear down as the fight goes on. Yeah. I think Lopez wears down as the fight goes on, and I would expect him to stop him somewhere around the 9th or 10th round.
Well, that's going to be interesting. I mean, that is a good fight, and that's an interesting fight. So. There again, another check mark for Showtime.
Yes.
So
let's move on to the next fight, which was, let's go to the HBO fight.
Okay.
The one which is on June the 15th, where we have Mikey Garcia taking on Juan Manuel Lopez. That fight is once again HBO, and it's going to be in Dallas, Texas. That's time we started off with. Lo, your opinion.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think that has all the makings of a good battle, of a good fight. Of course, Mikey is an upcoming star. He's an upcoming star. I followed Mikey. I followed the whole family, the whole Garcia family, from the father to Roberto, grandpa, to now Mikey. Okay, and classic fighting family, and they've all been upper status, superior boxers. So I kind of like Mikey. Okay, I like him. I like his style. I like his ambition. So I think for HBO, that's going to be a good fight. Unfortunately, they're not going head to head with Showtime. But if we're going to compare these two fights that come in that same time frame, I think HBO is putting together a very good card.
How do you feel about Roberto training his little brother? Does that have any bearing to you with anything? Is it a plus or a minus or anything?
Ordinarily, I'd say it's a minus when you get fathers in the ring and you get family in the ring. Because if anyone, especially in the Mexican or Chicano families, brothers and fathers, and so you go to blows, man. It's not like
It's not a business meeting.
It's hard for, like, let's say we're brothers, the two brothers. It's hard for me to have my brother tell me something and vice versa. It's just something where you can look at your coach and you're going to listen to your coach if it's a non-relation. Okay, but in this case, I think the boxing goes far down the line that I don't think you're going to have that problem. And I'll tell you what, Roberto right now is probably the best coach in the business today.
Real quick, Gary.
What people have to realize, and I forget, is Juan Manuel Lopez was once the up-and-coming rising star. The next great fighter out of Puerto Rico, behind Felix Trinidad, who I believe is still in his corner at most of his fights. Mm-hmm. He had a few letdowns against Orlando Salido. Let's see if he can bounce back. However, like you said, Mikey Garcia is on the cups of being that next technical great fighter, along the lines of Ricardo Lopez, a guy who doesn't have the flashiness, doesn't have the persona, but when he steps in the ring, he has no flaws. His footwork is impeccable. His boxing IQ is off the charts. He may be a little bit too much technical and smart for Juanma. Walk him into his power punches, to where we see a beat up and frustrated Juanma Lopez by the end of the night.
I agree. As a boxing person, not as just an everyday fight fan that's going to turn the TV on and watching fights. As a boxing thing, I think I saw something in Mikey's last fight that I questioned. And it was almost on the verge where he or his corner or whatever the case may have been elected to quit the fight, to stop the fight. I shouldn't say quit, to stop the fight and take the win rather than stay in there and continue to fight because of the cut. Okay.
Speaking of that, we just seen Cristobal Aurelio with the same broken nose in the second round fight 10 more rounds.
That's my point. So
even though he lost, even though he was kind of shut out after that, fans saw that.
The fans.
People saw that.
Exactly.
And they'll turn in next time to see Cristobal Aurelio fight, win or lose, because he showed that dog in him.
So that raised a question in my mind as a boxing purist. Mm-hmm. Okay, does Mikey have what it takes to be the champion
when the going gets tough?
Because it's easy once you've done it once, it's easy to do it again and again and again and again. Yeah. And if you know yourself, and if you know in your mind, and you have a good feeling about you're ahead on the fight and scorecard, okay, it's going to be easy to say, well, I don't want to give the fight fans what they want and they deserve. I'm stopping.
Go ahead. That's right. And just on that same note, in the last fight we had with Juanma, you remember where he actually took some serious shots and came back. We thought he might quit. But he came back and he showed that he's got the beard that it's going to take to advance in the division. But let's take a quick break, guys. We're going to let these guys have a quick drink, and we'll come back. We'll pick up where we left off. Be right back.